Avast and welcome back to All the Mods 7, Season 2, Episode 11. We made it to 11. It's gone all the way up to 11. And today, we're going nuclear. No, not like that. But we are going nuclear today. Absolutely, we are going to start on our Bigger Reactor because we need power and we're going to get it. So, let's get going. So as you can see, I did a little bit of work on the pathway here off camera. So I decided that doing this on camera is kind of dull, just making pathways and staircases and stuff going up to our mine colony's colony to be. So I figured that's a good something I can do just off camera, just to basically, let me go ahead and pull this out here real fast to do this. Just to basically get this all set up is something I can do off camera pretty easily, just getting the pathway done and terraforming the mountain down a little bit. But something else that I did off camera was I made one of these. So now this is a mod that was put in a couple of updates ago that I haven't really messed around with and haven't mentioned because I hadn't really done much with it. These are bonsai pots from Bonsai Trees 3. Now, those of you that are familiar with the idea of the bonsai pots and hopping bonsai pots are going to be very familiar with this because they're basically the exact same thing with some slight changes. So these bonsai pots are either act as regular bonsai pots or hopping bonsai pots depending on what you want to do. So if you click on it here, notice that you've got some dirt, you've got a sapling, you only need one dark oak sapling, which is nice, or one jungle sapling in here, and it will automatically grow the tree, and then it will not automatically harvest it. So like if I take this out of here, so check this out. It grows, it grows, it grows, it grows, it grows, and it stops at 100%. And I can manually harvest it just by clicking this, or I can just leave it as is. I've actually got one of these in my bedroom. You may have seen it a couple of times when I've been in there. And I've got like a little tree and a bonsai pot growing over my bed, basically. But you can also put an axe in here, and depending on the level of the axe and how many you put in, you can put it up to 4. It actually will grow this faster. I decided to, I don't need anything better than just one diamond axe in here. So I've got one diamond axe in each, and it's growing all different types of trees. We've got dark oak, birch, spruce, regular oak, acacia, the azaleas, jungle, another oak tree because I ran out of spots, one crimson and one warped fungus. So, and then down here we've got them all going into drawers, and anything that's dropped that comes out of these goes into the drawers. So we've got all the various different types of drops that are going into all of these different drawers. So we're creating shroom lights automatically, which is kind of cool because I like shroom lights, and all the different saplings, all the different woods. So I've only been running this for a couple of hours now, and we've already got quite a bit of resources. We've got 460 oak logs because we've got effectively 3 oak trees over here with the 2 oak and the azalea. Something to note, only the regular Minecraft trees will work in this. So these are only set up to take basically the vanilla trees and the 2 fungus here, the fungi, the warped and the crimson. So like the mod specific ones do not work with these right now. I suspect they will in the future, but at the moment they don't. So you basically get just the vanilla trees and the various different fungi that you've got over here. So, but we now have an automatic source of wood. We now have a wood farm all set up just with these bonsais, which is really, really cool. And we'll make a building around this too, just so it looks a little bit prettier. Because right now it's just kind of, ugly. But something else that I did off camera, we actually went through and did some design work on our garden close array. I've been playing around with, if I can press the right button, that is. I've been playing around with these. This is the Macaw's Roofs mod that I wanted to play around with a little bit just to make something. And I think this actually worked out pretty well. It kind of looks like a greenhouse. The roofs up here. Let me get this out of the way and I'll show you here real fast. If I can actually get up the hill. There we go. So these are the oak attic roofs from Macaw's Roofs. I thought they looked kind of like greenhouse, like a greenhouse roof. So I put those up there with sort of the windows open, looking down on our garden cloches down there, which I thought that actually looked really good. Some of them are open, some of them are closed. So I was pretty pleased with that. And then these lanterns are actually from chipped. Well, they're supplementaries, but they're how you make them in the chipped, the Mechanist workbench with regular lanterns to make these different kind of lanterns. And I thought these lanterns looked pretty good in there, as well as that. And this is also from chipped. This is just basically cobblestone that's been turned into small stone bricks. So yeah, looks really good. I like the way it looks. I put in a couple of these chipped logs too, just for texture. I don't know if I like that yet. We might come back and make some adjustments to that, but I'm pretty pleased with how this building turned out. And then, of course, down here we've got our donkeys in a little pen right next to the dock. So I thought that looked kind of good. Meanwhile, inside the base, we have co-opted our old farming areas to make room for all of the various different chipped workstations. So we've got the loom, we've got the Mechanist workbench, we've got the botanist workbench, the glass blower, the mason's table, the carpenter's table, and the alchemy bench, which this one I haven't played around with much. I've heard it's actually really interesting, but I haven't played with the alchemy bench all that much yet. But we basically got, and I used Prismarine down here with some chipped variants just to give it a little bit of a different feel to it. I'll probably dress this up a little bit more, but I just wanted to have an area for all these different chipped workbenches to go in. And our wireless terminal works over here too, so we can just basically use the wireless terminal to grab stuff, beat on it with chipped, and make whatever we want. So we now have this area over here, and that's really pretty much everything that I did off camera in the last couple of days, because mostly I've been preparing for the next stage in our game, basically. I've been preparing for the next stage of us doing things like putting together a big reactor. Now, let's have a quick discussion while we're doing this here. So, I have never actually built one of these reactors from either the Big Reactors or the Bigger Reactors mods. Not once have I ever built one of these. So, I'm basically going off of what I've learned from watching people over on YouTube and just from the wiki itself. So this may go very, very, very poorly. I'm hoping it won't, but it may. So we're going to be putting it out in the bay over here is where we're going to be putting this particular reactor. So if something happens, like, catastrophic Chernobyl-like meltdown, it'll happen out there and not in my base. I figured that was kind of smart. So what do we need for it? Well, we need a number of different things for this particular array. Now, I'm not going to go through step by step how to create each one of these, but effectively what we've got up here is, in order to be able to make the big reactor, we need a couple of things. First of all, we need reactor casing. That is the foundation of all of your different reactors, is reactor casing here. And if you go through, if you actually just put in the, if I can spell, bigger. So we can put in the Bigger Reactors mod. So you need reactor casing. Reactor casing is actually very simple to make. It's just iron, graphite, and uranium. And graphite is literally all you need to do to make graphite is just smelt down coal or charcoal or graphite dust, if you want to do it that way. But coal or charcoal, you smelt it and it turns into a graphite ingot. So very simple to get graphite. So you need a bunch of these because you need these to make everything else for this particular mod. So notice we've got the reactor glass over here. So reactor glass takes graphite, it takes a reactor casing and glass. Not the redstone port, my bad. The access port, you need an access port. It takes reactor casing, a chest, and a piston. The reactor fuel rods take iron, uranium, and graphite. The coolant port takes reactor casing, iron, piston, and a bucket. So very simple. And these are all things that you have to have in order to make this work. So we have our fuel rods here, which is where we're going to put in our uranium fuel. We have our control rods, which are going to go, I think you only need one control rod that goes on top of the fuel rod. I made a bunch of them. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. Like I said, I really don't know what I'm doing here, but you really only need one of these for each one of these. So we've got our control rod, we've got our fuel rods, we've got our reactor casing, we've got our reactor terminal, which is another thing that you have to have in order to be able to make this thing work, is at least one reactor terminal, which is a diamond, some uranium, redstone, and casing. Pretty simple. The access port, which is effectively how you are able to access the reactor. A power tap, which is where the power comes out of. and a coolant port, which is how you put coolant into the reactor. Coolant can be anything from, I think there's a number of different coolants you can use. We're just going to use water for ours. So we're just going to be making a small big reactor. It's not going to be a big reactor. It's going to be a small big reactor because honestly, right now the only things that we have that really require power is that garden close array over there, and that's really about it at this point. We don't really have anything else that absolutely has to have power in order to be able to function. But I do want the garden close array to be running at full speed because right now it is not. It is running very, 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 very slowly. I even made some of the Beyond Earth solar panels to see if that would help. The problem is the Beyond Earth solar panels give out a whopping 5 RF per tick. Hoo boy! Like, you riding on a bicycle could probably create more power than those things do. So, yeah. We're going to be doing a reactor over here, and we're going to be doing it in the bay. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting it sort of underwater in the bay because I've got to build around it that I think is going to look really cool. So, let's get going. And yes, you can yell at me all you want. I'm just now using a builder's wand. I know. I should have been using one of these for a while, but no, I decided I needed to just not use one. And we're already out of sand. Fantastic. Well, we gotta go to get more of that, so I shall return. And some more sand and a number of crashes later, because the latest version of All the Mod 7 is not stable. We have a giant sand-covered hole in the ground. Yay, us. So what are we going to do with this? Well, first of all, we're going to put on our jetpack. And we're going to take a look at this here and see exactly how we want to do this. So let's go grab our reactor casing out of our backpack. And I think we're going to have it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, one above the water line. I think that's going to work out pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And just like that. And attach it on the sides. So now we have a giant box here. Well, not giant. I guess it's 5x5. So now that we have our 5x5 box, we need to grab our reactor fuel rods. And those are going to go right in the center here. 3, 4... And then on top of that is going to go a reactor control rod. Whoop, I went one too far. Because I am not smart. Let's try that again, shall we? And there we go. So we have a reactor fuel rod on the top there. And now we need to make ourselves like a little box off to the side here just for the reactor controls. I think I'm going to put them all in the back, actually. So we'll be knocking out a couple of these things, putting in that. Because... If I'm remembering correctly, we need to basically fill this in. And I had the exact right amount of reactor casing, which just never happens. So, and then it requires at least one terminal. So this thing will tell you if there's something wrong, by the way. So that's nice, at least. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and create a little box off to the back here so we can actually get everything set up. So let me go grab some materials. I'll be right back with you. All right, never mind the cobblestone back here, but now we just have to knock out this block here and put in our reactor terminal. Ta-da! We have a reactor. All right. And this is telling us just where we're at as far as case heat, fuel mix, battery, so on and so on and so on. Status is offline. Waste ejection is enabled. Fan-frickin-tastic. So now let's go ahead and grab our power tap out of here. Whoop. Our access port and our coolant port. So can we put those around this? I think we can, but let me just double check here. So if we put our power tap there and we put our access port there. Yep, that'll work. Cool. And then where do we want our coolant port? Let's just put the coolant port underneath. That seems reasonable as far as I'm concerned. Coolant port? Ooh, that's not going to work. Reactors may only have coolant ports or power taps, passively cool type, not both. Okay. So that being the case, we're just going to have the power tap over here. Whoop, that we can attach things to create power. Now, I did make 2 of these tesseracts. I know that a few of you have said, don't use tesseracts. I'm going to try it just to see if maybe the latest update did fix, quote unquote, some of the things that were going on with it. If so, fantastic. If not, well, I guess we'll go from there. So, and then this, insert rod, more insertion reduces reaction rate, retract rod, less insertion. So we're at 0% right now. How do we put the fuel in? Do we put the fuel in? Does the fuel in go over in the access port? Oh, yes, it does. Okay. Manual, so manually eject all waste from the reactor. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get some fuel and see what happens. But before that, let's put in the one thing that I forgot, which was coolant. That seems smart, you know? It just seems intelligent. So let's totally do that. Okay, so we now have water around the control rod. So now, oh wait, I put it in one too high. That was smart. So yeah, let's go ahead and if I can hit that. Okay. Into the reactor. Yep. Okay. How do I get out of the reactor? Have I trapped myself in here now? Let's take off the jetpack because now that's just causing me problems. Okay. Up and out. Up and out. There we go. What the? Who are you? And what are you doing over here? I'm very, very confused. Hang on. Let's clear all this out again real fast. Whoops. And then fall in our own reactor because, you know, we're smart. Dude, who are you and what are you doing over here? Who are you? You look angry. Ooh, trade offer. I receive, you receive. What do you got? Gunpowder, bombs, firework star, firework rockets, TNT, rope arrow, blue bomb. What else? Is that it? That appears to be it. Well, now that you're over here. Okay, do you want to jump in my reactor, dude? You probably don't want to do that. I don't even know who this guy is. Red merchant from supplementaries. Okay, I'm confused, but that's all right. All right, let's finish putting our water in. All right, I got a second reactor access port so we can actually have this toggling to output, and then we can have it output fuel or waste. We're going to have it actually output waste. So it's going to go that way. Thank you for raining on me. I really appreciate it. This one's going to stay as input. So in this one, we're going to put in uranium. And it is, in fact, inputting it. So we now have fuel. Waste ejection is enabled. All right. Everyone hold on to your butts. Here we go. Oh. Okay then. And that's slowly climbing. But not... What was that? What are you doing, dude? Don't throw bombs around my reactor. What's wrong with you? Get out of here. See, they're trying to kill me. Okay. So as I was saying, looks like the reactor temperature is stabilized at about 860 degrees Kelvin, and it's creating a fair amount of power. It's 1.9 kilo RF per tick. That is decidedly more than what was being made beforehand. So, oh hey, grave dust, thank you. So yeah, this is working, and it's not exploding. Really? I gotta go. Well, yeah, we gotta go sleep because something's going to destroy this reactor if we're not careful. All right, we've slept. The rain and the thunder are gone, and this is not doing too badly here. So, And it's not really creating that much waste here. That's good. And it's really not going through uranium very fast either. So, yeah, this is working out really good. We've got, what, 5.8 mega RF stored here of 9.8? Nice. Let's go ahead and switch the reactor off for the time being. And I want to see if these tesseracts will actually work the way I think they will. So, tesseract goes on there. And tesseract items, tesseract energy, information coming soon. That's fantastic. Redstone is disabled. Transfer mode is send and receive. Let's do send only. Okay. What's the create button do? Oh, it creates a channel name. Okay, so let's do channel 1. So there we go. Do you want something other than that? Create channel 1. Okay. So that's channel 1. Nice. Okay. So we'll activate that. So that is now activated. Okay. So that being the case, let's go see if we can actually hook this up to our garden closure array and see if that actually will work the way I think it will. So I'll be right back. And that has worked brilliantly. It's pipe spaghetti, which I don't necessarily like all that much, but it functions, and it functions amazingly well. So yeah, the Tesseract, a little hard to get your head around to start with. Just, I mean, you got to set it up correctly, and I'm stuck inside my own building. What's going on here? There we go. Let me out. Let me out. Any one direction, please. There we go. Okay. So the Tesseract, a little hard to get your head around. So notice, when I have this set up to this particular power thing, I do have to change this to receive only in order to get the pipes, energy pipes from pipes working correctly. So you do have to do that. But once you do, it's real easy to get set up. So you basically set up your network. This is for energy. You can do items and fluids as well. This thing's great. I love this. So let's get our window back in over here. And then we can actually fill that in too, because I couldn't fill that in before, but now I can, which is pretty awesome. And we can go ahead and get rid of this. As much as I love immersive engineering, and I really do, it's a really fun mod, the nuclear reactor is just straight up better. I mean, it's just straight up better. There's no two ways about it. I mean, mega RF versus what we were creating, maybe 30 RF per tick. What? Wait a minute. Really? You really want some of this? Are you serious? You really don't, dude. Hi. How you doing? Welcome to Chili's. You're done. You're done. I'll just let you all burn to death. How's that sound? Oh, that was great. Ah. If you're wondering what that was this. The shock pendant. Now you gotta be careful not to set a whole bunch of wooden things on fire, obviously, but yeah. That was fun. Okay, let's go drop some stuff off here. So we now have a functional reactor that's going to be supplying us with all the power we're going to need for the foreseeable future, which is fantastic to hear. Now, what do I want to do next? Well, okay, so we've got this box of sand and cobblestone out here that's covering up our reactor right now. It's not very good looking. In fact, it's pretty ugly. What I want to do is an idea that, and I apologize for not remembering who this was, and I can't seem to find the comment on my videos from a couple videos back, but someone, I think it may have been the captain, it may have been someone else, though, I'm not entirely certain. So whoever it was, please feel free to leave a comment down below on this. I want to build something around this that actually will effectively hide what it is, but still allow it to function correctly. What we're going to build is we're going to build a nuclear submarine. But we're not going to build a modern nuclear submarine. We're not going to build like a Los Angeles class or, a Kiev class or anything like that submarine around this thing. We're going to basically Jules Verne this thing up, and we're going to build the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the movie. Now, I could make it as like the one that's sort of talked about in the book a little bit. But I remember watching the movie as a kid and thinking, this movie's great. This movie is absolutely fantastic. And I love this movie. And I still love this movie. So we're going to actually build a replica of the set piece that they used from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea around our nuclear reactor. So it's going to be housing our nuclear reactor, and it's still going to look somewhat on brand. You know, it's still going to look somewhat like a steampunky, piratey kind of thing. This is going to be hanging out in the bay over here, which is where I wanted to put one of the ships anyway, was right here. So it's going to be sort of half in and half out of the water, like that very iconic shot that you remember from the movie. If you ever saw the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie. You can probably find it on YouTube for either to rent or even for free, possibly. I mean, it was a movie. It was made in the 60s. It's a very, it's a very 1950s, 1960s pop culture sci-fi kind of movie because it's based on a Jules Verne novel. Same guy that wrote From the Earth to the Moon, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and another one that I'm spacing that's also a very famous one. But Jules Verne was sort of the first science fiction writer for all intents and purposes, before even guys like Ray Bradbury and Robert Heinlein and Isaac Asimov showed up on the scene. Jules Verne was sort of the one that started the whole revolution. So that's what we're going to build, is we're going to build the Nautilus around this thing. And as you notice in my inventory, I've got some of the things we're going to be using to build the Nautilus, which is a whole bunch of copper and then a whole bunch of terracotta, because if you remember from the movie, if you ever saw it, or if you've seen the pictures of this particular set piece that they use, there's lots of coppers and browns and a little bit of like blues in there. So we might grab some of our prismarine, which we've got a fair amount of, actually. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, we still have quite a bit of prismarine and floating around. So we'll probably do some highlighting with prismarine. And the copper also will oxidize, so it will turn that, bluish tealy kind of color, which I think will look really good once it oxidizes. Maybe we'll wax some of it, maybe we won't, I don't know. So we're going to build that, and I think the best way to do that would be in a montage. So we're going to montage this up, so yeah, hang on for that, and we'll see what we've got when we're done. All right, so you ever have one of those projects that you look at and go, oh, it'll just take a couple hours, it'll be fine? Yeah, so this is that project. I didn't think this would take this long to figure out block pallets, and then realize that solid blocks weren't going to cut it, and slabs not quite, and the stairs, I needed something else. And then I remembered, well, we have a tree farm up there, and acacia is orange, and we have access to macaw's roofs. So I think you see where I'm going here. So I've got most of the front of this done-ish. I mean, we'll work on a little bit more. These slabs, by the way, are great. This is Domum Ornamentum terracotta slabs. You can make like regular terracotta slabs as well, which is what I've got down here from the Absent by Design mod. So I've got two different types of slabs in here, and you can also make copper slabs. So you can make slabs of copper out of block copper, and these do not oxidize, by the way. So once you Domum Ornamentum up these, they do not oxidize. And I made these copper fence gates for more detail. Of course, lightning rods for the little pointy things on the side of Nautilus, because I thought that looked good. And this up the front. I might change this around so it's more pointy. Or put maybe an end rod on it. That's an idea. If I can find some end rods. I think I've got end rods. Pretty sure I have end rods. You can also, thanks to Absent by Design, make stairs and slabs out of glowstone. So we've got the door, the hatchways on the side here. Now, obviously, we're gonna have to sump out all this water too, but we'll deal with that later. That's a future Akoto problem, not a current Akoto problem. Current Akoto's a jerk. But yeah, I think you see where I'm going here. So we've got the doors. This is going to arch over this way. You're going to have sort of the bridge area up here, where this is going to continue up and do a little thing here, and then you're going to have like the bridge right there, and then this will sort of curve down over top of our reactor until we get to the back here, and then in the back we're actually going to use a water wheel to give it the sort of the idea that it's got a propeller on the back. So yeah, I think that'll actually look really good. But it's just my brain hurts after doing all this. My brain really does not feel good after all of this. Just trying to figure out exactly dimensions and then trying to figure out blocks and being like, well, I can't use stairs. Hey, I've got these Macaw's roofs. I'll use that. And those, of course, will continue down below, so you'll have symmetry there as well. So Macaw's roofs are going to save us there. And then, of course, in the back, we'll have it curved down. We'll have the little, like, fishtail thing that you see on the Nautilus. And all of this to hide the nuclear reactor. I mean, I could have just made a regular boat, man. I could have done this so much easier and on myself. But no! What do I have to build? I have to build a giant nuclear submarine that's, like, steampunk style. Not just a regular submarine that's gray and just a cylinder. No! I had to pick something with, like, pointy stuff and stuff that goes up and down and around and is I don't know why am I like this? Why am I like this? But I will have to finish that off camera because we're out of time for today and my brain hurts and I need to go lay down and rest. Because it's just been painful trying to put all this together. But I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you enjoyed putting together the nuclear reactor here, and this helped you with this particular mod if you were having issues with bigger reactors and how to build them. And like I said, this is not the smallest reactor. The smallest reactor you can build is 3x3. But this is a fairly small reactor, and it's putting out a ton of power. So all of our crops over there are going to be fine. Pretty much anything we decide to do with power from here on out should be pretty good until we get to the point where we need something larger than this, which I can't foresee unless they put more tech mods in the pack, like unless they put in mechanism or something like that. Some of the immersion engineering stuff does take some amount of power, but nowhere near the amount that this thing produces. But I do hope you had a good time today. I hope you enjoyed that. I wish we could have finished this build today, but like I said, my brain just hurts. I need to let it rest for a while, and we'll finish it off camera and you can see it next time. So, but I do appreciate you coming along today. I do appreciate you hanging out with us and having a good time. Please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button on the way out the door if you have not subscribed to the channel already. We are so close to 500 subscribers. We are so close to unlocking the community tab here on YouTube, which is going to be amazing, because while I really enjoy hanging out with people over in Discord and talking there, having another avenue to be able to talk to people, especially talk to people directly from YouTube that may not be part of the Discord, would be fantastic. So I really hope that you will subscribe if you have not already. But once again, I do this for fun, I do this for entertainment, I do this for stress relief. Don't ever feel like you have to do anything on my channel when you come here other than just watch the videos and have a good time. So don't feel like you're being pressured into anything else. Just the fact that you're here and having fun and enjoying everything is enough for me. But I would like to have you as a subscriber so we can open up the community tab. That'd be really, really, really awesome. Can I get any closer to the camera? Seriously though, whatever you do tonight, make sure you go out, play some games, have some fun. See y'all again real soon. Have a good night, everybody.